Hey guys, Joe Flannery again here with you, and welcome to Lesson 6 of the Resume module. This is the lesson I am the most excited about to share with you because the Accomplishment Builder, this is really what's going to set your resume apart from 95% of the competition out there, because the vast majority of resumes do not have accomplishments. And I can tell you as a recruiter and a hiring manager, what jumps off the page, what gets me to read your resume are your accomplishments. And we're going to teach you today how to go, first of all, identify in your background what your accomplishments are, but also then teach you how to write those accomplishments bullet points and put them on your resume in a way that's going to pop off the page and get me to read your resume. So this lesson's a lot longer than some of the other lessons because I want to give as many examples as I can and go into whatever depth of specificity I can, because I know some people struggle with this part, but I'm going to give you everything you need in this lesson so you can go out and build some great accomplishments for your resume, okay? Now, in order to do that, we've just devised a system, and we call it the BAR method. And the BAR is an acronym, and it stands for Background, Action, and Result. And what you're going to do is you're going to go back into your experience, whether it's job A or job B or job C, and you're going to think about all your experiences, and you're going to identify accomplishments. I'm going to give you a series of questions you're going to ask yourself to identify those accomplishments. And then we are going to put those into the BAR method, and we're going to identify what the background was, what was going on, what the action is that you took, and what the result was that you achieved. And then we're going to use that information, and we're going to transform that into an accomplishment bullet, okay? So we like to follow, I've got a little formula here for accomplishment bullets. And basically what it is, it's a past tense action verb, which you should already have that download. If not, it's also below on this module, on this lesson, plus a metric, plus a number that's either a raw amount or a percentage, plus the word by, I've got in quotation marks there, plus another past tense action verb, plus the action that you took. Okay, and we're going to use this formula for all of your accomplishment bullets. You're going to get to know it well. In essence, to break this down in a little more simplistic form, I accomplished Y by doing X. That, in its most simplistic form, is what the formula is. This is just a little more granular, but it is I accomplished Y by doing X. And then I gave the more specific things here with the past tense action verb, the metric, etc. And we'll go into greater detail here as we go through the module. So, in order to go build your BAR slides, right, to go identify your accomplishments, we're going to ask ourselves 5 key questions, okay? The first question, and it pertains to each, you want to do this with each individual job that you've had, okay? And so the first question is, did you increase revenue, right? Did you do anything that increased the revenue of the company you were working at? Number 2, did you decrease costs? Was there anything you did to save that company money? Those are accomplishments, okay? Number 3, did you improve a process? Did you do anything that made things faster or cheaper or better? That is improving a process, and that again is an accomplishment. Did you save the company time? And you may not realize how important that is, but time truly is money, especially for companies. And if you helped identify ways to improve a process or save company time, that at the end of the day is dollars in your employer's pocket, and that's a great accomplishment to have on your resume. Lastly, did you improve customer satisfaction? And that can be a broad thing, guys. Did you do anything that made the customer experience better? Okay, so we're going to go through these 5 questions. I'm going to give you some very specific examples so you can use these to go build your accomplishment bullets. So the first question was, did you increase revenue? Well, let's go through an example. Okay, and in this example number 1, this is actually from the sample resumes that you have. You've got Alan's and Jennifer's. I'm going to pull a bullet point directly off of their resume, and we're going to show you how we built this bullet point, how we came up with it. So in this example, we're going to target the increased drive-through revenue by $45,000 by improving the money collection procedure. Okay, now remember this follows our formula. Let's go back to that. So the first thing we want to do is that we want to go through and build the background, action, and result that Alvin did in order to accomplish that. So here was the situation for Alvin. He was working McDonald's drive-thru, and he'd have to actually walk across the restaurant to run credit card payments because there wasn't a credit card machine right next to the drive-thru. I think it was broken or whatever. So it would take an extra minute for Alvin to go actually process that drive-thru customer. And what Alvin did was he convinced his manager to go invest in a new credit card machine and install it right by the drive-thru station instead of having to walk all the way across McDonald's. And as a result of that, they're able to save about a minute per customer in the drive-thru line. That's a big improvement, right? Now, if we go back to our accomplishment bullet formula, we're going to use a past tense action verb plus a metric plus a number of either raw amount or percentage, the word buy plus a past tense action verb, and plus an action. Okay? And here's how that looks. We increased drive-thru revenue, this should be by, that's a typo, $45,000 by improving the money collection procedure. So what we're telling them is we increased revenue, this amount, like we're giving them the metric of revenue is the metric, here's the amount, here's the figure, in this case it's a dollar figure, by improving the money collection procedure. You see how that works, guys? Does that make sense? Right? And you're going to get it. We're going to go through a lot of examples, so you're going to get this formula down, okay? Now, how did I come up with $45,000? Let's go through the math. Well, as a result of the change, they were able to serve about one additional customer per hour. That's how it ended up working out. And the average order size was $5.15 per order. So the final formula was there's 24 hours a day, and McDonald's drive-thru is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and they sold an incremental $5.15. Okay, that resulted in $45,114, or to break it down more simply, 24 times 365 times 515 equals $45,114. That's it. That's how the math became, right? $45,000. We just rounded down. And one of the things to keep in mind, guys, when you're doing this, it's an approximation. It doesn't have to be exact. You are making assumptions when you build your bullet points, and that's totally acceptable. As long as we can describe what we did in the interview when they ask us a question about it, it's totally okay. You're never going to know the numbers exactly, okay? No one does. The interviewer's not going to know the numbers exactly. They weren't there. So as long as you can defend it and help explain what you did, the numbers can be approximations. They do not need to be exact, so don't get hung up on that too much, okay? So let's go through another example, revenue example number 2. So here's another one where from Applebee's introduced a new marketing campaign that resulted in $30,000 increase in annual sales. Okay? Do you see that formula again? Introduced this, okay, that resulted in that increase in annual sales. Now this is a little bit different than the formula. You can mix it up, but it says the exact same thing. Okay, so here's the bar. Here's the situation. I was working at Applebee's as a waitress, and the slowest days were Tuesdays. Some of the servers got together and decided to do a fun dress-up night every Tuesdays. They'd post their pictures on Instagram and Facebook, along with a buy one, get one free appetizer promotion. Okay, as a result of that, they averaged about 30 additional customers every Tuesday, resulted in $30,000 in annual increase. That's huge. Like it's another very simplistic example, guys, of an accomplishment. Okay, let's go back to our formula. And this bullet point, we deviate a little bit from that. Okay, but it's the same exact concept, right? We start with a past tense action verb. We describe what we did and what the result was. Okay. Now, how do we come up with the $30,000? Well, let's go through the math again. I'm going to go through the math on all these and show you how simple the math can be. And once again, make assumptions. You don't have to have the exact numbers, right? As long as you can describe what you did, what they're really trying to understand is what did you accomplish? The math doesn't have to be exact. So, as a result of the change, they brought in 30 additional customers every Tuesday. The average check size was $20. So the final formula was 30 customers per Tuesday. There's 52 Tuesdays a year. $20 average check size. That came out to a total number of $31,200. Or in simplistic terms, it was 30 times 52 times $20 equals $31,200. We rounded it down to $30,000 in our bullet point. Okay, but do you see how easy that is? How simple that is? It's not rocket science, guys. We can make this simple and easy, quick and fun, okay? The next one, let's go through another example. This one's going to be a little more complex math because I wanted to show you some more difficult stuff just so you've got a wide spectrum. But you don't need to make this complicated for yourself. You just need to find some really good accomplishments and get them down on paper. Okay? In this example, increased annual revenue $12,000 by introducing a new add-on sales technique. See that formula again? Right? Past tense action verb, the metric, annual revenue, $12,000, the word buy. What did they do? They introduced a new add-on sales technique. Okay? Here was the situation. So Alan was working at the front counter, and his boss wanted to encourage higher sales. In a typical hour, he'd help about 20 people. Well, every month they came out with a new flavor shake in an attempt to satisfy his boss. He decided getting customers to buy shakes would be a great way to increase sales. So to make certain he could sell them better, he actually would try all the new flavors. So he could, make a better sell and tell how awesome the new flavors were. So by implementing that strategy, he was able to convert 1/5 of his customers to add a shake to their order. This resulted in an annual increase of $12,000. Okay? Here's that formula again. Past tense action verb plus metric plus number, either raw amount or percentage, with the word by and a past tense action verb and an action. Increased annual revenue $12,000 by introducing a new add-on sales technique. Okay, and here's the math. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week is what Alvin worked. 52 weeks in a year, 2 weeks minus the 2 weeks of vacation. So he worked 50 weeks times 5 days a week. You go 250 days a year. He's able to get about 3 people per hour, or 24 per day, to add on a milkshake to their meal. Each milkshake cost about $2. So the final formula was 8 times 250 times 3 shakes per hour times $2 a shake. Total was $12,000. Simplifying that was 8 times 250 times 3 times 2. Okay, this is a little more, there's more numbers here, it's a little more complex math, but you get the idea, right? It's very simple the way you do it. You just make a couple assumptions, okay? Just do some basic math. It doesn't have to be complicated. All right, next question that we ask ourselves, do you improve a process? Okay, well, let's go through that. Here's an example at Applebee's. Decreased, once again, that past tense action verb, weekly man hours 8% by changing the cleaning process, right? There it is. The metric is man hours. The amount is 8%. And the by, like, what do? They change the cleaning process. Here was the situation. Alvin was a bartender at Applebee's and used to have to take glasses to the back room to clean them because they didn't have a space at the bar to clean the glasses. So instead, Alvin set up a cleaning station in an empty space next to the bar, and he was able to clean the glasses right there, right? That reduced cleaning time significantly. It used to take roughly 12 man hours a day to clean the glasses, but they were able to reduce that an hour to 11 hours. That resulted in an 8% improvement, okay? Back to our accomplishment bullet point formula, right? Past tense action verb plus the metric plus the number, either the raw amount or the percentage, plus the word by, plus a past tense action verb plus the action. Decreased weekly man hours 8% by changing the cleaning process, right? It's a great bullet point. It's simple. It gets to the point, but it shows an accomplishment. And the math was really easy on this one, guys. Reduced cleaning time from 12 hours to 11. 12 minus 11 is 1 divided by 12, right? 12 minus 11 divided by 12, 8.3%. We put 8%. This is how simple and easy it is to come up with accomplishments. All he did was started cleaning the glasses next to the bar instead of taking them back. And you don't realize that you probably did a lot of these kind of things, these little small things. Well, they make a huge difference in the profitability of a business. And these are the kind of accomplishments you should be able to come with a lot of them. It's not hard. You didn't need to change the world where you were. Just make some small improvements at the job you're at, and that's an accomplishment, and employers value that so much, guys. Okay? Making sense? Are you getting this? Okay, let's go through a company time saving. Did you save your company time? Let's do a target example. Saved over $29,000 annually by changing methods to code items. Once again, that formula, past tense action verb, right? $29,000, the metric, by doing what? Changing methods to code items. Okay? And this is one of Jennifer's. Let's go through the background here. Jennifer was working at Target as a team member, and when new inventory comes in, they used to take about 4 team members to help print out codes from the scanner. There was only one working scanner, and that really slowed down the process. So Jennifer convinced her manager to invest in 3 new scanners to speed up the process. The 3 new scanners that were purchased were able to print out about 4 codes at a time instead of 1, and this sped up the inventory process, and it saved 7 man hours a day, right? It's a huge improvement. Doesn't seem like it, but it is. We go back to our formula, okay? And let's go look at that bullet point. Increased profitability. That bullet point again, guys, saved over $29,000 annually by changing methods to code items. How do we come up with $29,000, guys? Well, here's how we did it. So, saved 7 man hours per day. There's 7 days in a week, and the average wage was about $11 an hour. So 7 hours times 7 days a week times 52 weeks a year times $11 equals a little over 28 grand. Right? 7 times 52 times 11 in its simplistic form, right? See how easy this is, guys? It can be so simple. Just these little changes that you made at your job, little small implements, and just ask yourself the questions, and you can come up with so many great accomplishments, no matter what your job was. Okay? Improve customer satisfaction. Let's go through an example of that. Saved over $16,000 a year by introducing a new process with patient paperwork form. Okay? Let's go back to a Jennifer example here. She was working at SmileBright as an office manager, and all the new patients were required to fill out paperwork that consisted of about 10 pages that typically took about 20 minutes to complete. In addition, the secretaries would then have to sort the papers and file them. So Jennifer convinced her manager to invest in a few iPads, and patients would be filling out the paperwork directly in the iPad instead of by hand. And by being able to type on the iPad, patients were able to speed up the sign-in process by about half the time. In addition, it increased the amount of paper that was consumed. So imagine how awesome. It was a better experience for the consumer and saved the company time with this one small, simple change that Jennifer identified. Our formula, again, I won't go through it again. You guys are getting the hang of this, right? Saved, past tense action verb, over $16,000 a year by introducing a new process with patient paperwork form. How we do the math? Well, we saved about $320 a week in paper costs, and the office was open about 50 weeks a year, right? So $320 a week times 50 weeks equals $16,000. See how easy that is, guys? It's so simple to come up with some great, and that's a powerful bullet point. If I go back to, guys, that's going to pop off the page. All of these bullet points are going to pop off the page and make me want to read your resume. Okay? You getting the hang of this? All right. Did you decrease costs? Let's go through a cost example. So, in this example, saved over $8,000 a year by introducing a new napkin fulfillment process. Okay? So, Alvin, while he was working at McDonald's, was responsible for maintaining the floor and the refill station, and they had napkin dispensers broken. And as a result, customers just grabbed handfuls of napkins instead of grabbing a couple. And so he convinced his manager to buy a new napkin dispenser, probably cost him $20, and the customers began taking less napkins instead of taking handfuls because they could get them out easier, right? There's our formula again. And that bullet point saved over $8,000 a year by introducing a new napkin fulfillment process. Okay? Here's the math. Really simple. They saved about $150 a week in napkin costs. So $150 a week times 52 weeks equals $7,800. We round it up to $8,000. See how simple that is, guys? And note that on all these bullet points, like you can change them up. Like the questions are just thought starters. Those 5 questions, they're just to get you thinking about what did you accomplish. And then you can phrase them any way you want if you follow the formula. It can be a decrease in cost. It can be an improvement in process. It can be an increase in revenue. Whatever it is, the questions are just to get you started thinking about what are your accomplishments. Okay, so background, action, result. All right. Let's do a real quick recap of what we're doing. We want to start with, you want to ask those questions, you want to go through the background, action, result, okay? As you go through your list of questions, you're going to put those into these formats, so it's going to help you write your bullet points, right? And those bullet points are going to look like this. They're going to start with a past tense action verb. You're going to add the metric. You're going to add the number, either a raw amount or a percentage. You're going to add the word by, and then you're going to add another past tense action verb, and then the action you took. Or put in more simplistic terms, I accomplished X by doing Y. It's that simple, okay? That is in the nutshell of what you're trying to accomplish here with your accomplishment bullets. And the 5 questions you're going to ask yourself to get these great accomplishments. Did you increase revenue? Did you decrease costs? Did you improve a process? Did you save the company time? And lastly, did you improve customer satisfaction? These questions, guys, they're just thought starters. They're to help make it easier for you to go through each and every one of your job experiences and identify accomplishments, because the accomplishments are what are going to transform your resume the most. They're ultimately what's going to get you interviews and ultimately going to get you that job. Okay, so hopefully you guys got it. I think you guys have got it. I think we went through a lot of great examples here. Now I want you to take the time and go back through your experiences and start building out your accomplishments. Let's get those done and get them on the resume, and I'll see you in the next lesson.